Sometimes, exploring means seeing the site of an amazing discovery for yourself. I'm author and researcher Mike Luoma. This summer, I traveled to western Pennsylvania, about 30 miles south of Pittsburgh, to Avella, near the Ohio border, to check out Meadowcroft Rockshelter. Dr. James A. DeVasio and colleagues from the University of Pittsburgh conducted the main dig in the 1970s, and the site is preserved as it was when they finished. Other smaller investigations have been done since, and some of the site is still not excavated, allowing for future work. Adavasio and Company conducted a meticulous dig. The remains were carefully handled and cataloged. The tags you see indicate different strata, or dirt horizons, if you will, each indicative of a number of years. Digging down, you're digging back through time, layer by layer. Traditionally, North American archaeology held to the Clovis First theory, where the first humans entered North America over a land bridge from Siberia, across what's now the Bering Strait, 13 to 14,000 years ago. Clovis refers to a type of projectile point, which features a flute or central groove, and indicates Clovis people were big game hunters, after mastodons and such. At Meadowcroft, as they dug below the Clovis era's dirt horizon, they found more and more remains. Tools and remains of human activity were found dating back 19,000 years. This site held an incredible archaeological record of continuous occupation over thousands and thousands of years. But the remains found demonstrated these were not big game hunters, like the Clovis people. One large pre-Clovis projectile point discovered was dubbed the Miller Lancelate Point, after Albert Miller, whose family owned this land since 1795 and who discovered the rock shelter in the 1950s and preserved it. The discoveries here rewrite history. Or would if older North American archaeologists didn't cling to the Clovis First theory like dogma. Those in archaeology who challenged Clovis First used to find themselves ostracized and driven from the field, often brutally. A New York Times headline called it "Archaeology as a Blood Sport." Because of this, discoveries here, as meticulous and thoroughly documented as they are, have not been universally accepted. Some of the critiques leveled against the early dating here, met and answered, by the way, inspired those working more recently to preemptively test against the possible contaminants the old men argue are skewing the Meadowcroft dates. They did this with recent discoveries of human footprints in New Mexico, for example, which may date back 21 to 23,000 years. The shelter is just up the hill from Cross Creek, which runs into the Ohio River. and those who frequented this shelter likely used the waterways to travel. Among the many remains found here were seashells from the Atlantic coast. In fact, this rock shelter likely wasn't a long-term residence, but a stopover for travelers. A roadside motel open for 18,000 or so years, or more. The range of places of origin for the artifacts discovered demonstrates quite a mobility. I was fixated by the sight. It was hard to tear myself away. This could be the oldest known site of human habitation in North America. There are other pre-Clovis sites in the Americas now, most prominently Monteverde in Chile. Pre-Clovis North American sites include Cactus Hill in Virginia and Topper in South Carolina, among several others. There are likely more left undiscovered, as Clovis First meant most archaeologists simply did not dig any further down. Meadowcroft Rockshelter is a National Historic Landmark. The Senator John Hines History Center of Pittsburgh, part of the Smithsonian, runs the site, which also includes the old Miller farmland, with 3 recreated historical settings: a pre-contact 1570s Monongahela Indian village, an 18th century trading outpost, and a 19th century rural village with a church, school, and blacksmith shop. There's also the Miller Museum with exhibits on harness racing, barns and farm implements and carriages, and the pine bank covered bridge on site. The remnants of Hurricane Fred were blowing in as I walked around the historic villages. I was one of only a few hardy souls out that day, with a borrowed umbrella from the visitor center. Even tried throwing a projectile with an atlatl at the Monongahela site. As with other stops on my summer road trip, it seems like more people should know about this place and the discoveries here. Like Serpent Mound and Cahokia, this is a place of immense historical significance. Guess I'll keep doing what I can to let folks know about them. I'm Mike Luoma. Thank you for experiencing Meadowcroft Rockshelter with me.